चलो. Yeah, continue.
Archana,
Oh,
continue.
sorry, I was on mute. I'm extremely sorry. Yeah. It was 4 days since that magical moment the water rose. Baba never once discussed it. He just shrugged his shoulder and made certain that the subject of the rising was never mentioned. Both the men traveled to a port where finding a place to rent was virtually impossible. But Baba directed Rudra to a place where not only was there a small house available, but it was the sea facing. The cost was high, but not as cheap as the other places in the vicinity. Their place was virtually on the beach, with innumerable cottages close by. Rudra on his own would never have been comfortable being so close to people, but with Baba near him, nothing mattered. Living with Baba ensured that there were certain do's and don'ts. The main one being Rudra would not talk to Baba when with people. Oh, so much so that Rudra would behave as though Baba wasn't around, not even look in Baba's direction. Rudra made a feeble attempt at objecting, but he knew he was fighting a losing battle. Rudra could feel Baba's power. Positive surrender was not an option. It was as natural as breathing. The next rule that the old man insisted on was that Rudra would not introduce Baba to anybody. He wouldn't even talk about Baba's physical presence. The third directive was that Rudra would eat one meal a day in a restaurant that was frequented by other people without Baba's company. The last being, Rudra would do all the work in the cottage by himself, no help from outside. Are you okay with these conditions? You are the boss. Only he is the boss. Baba pointed skyward. Rudra nodded. Then they strolled by the sea. It was early in the morning and they walked close to the water. They let the cold water wet their bare legs. Except for a few birds and a stray dog, the beach was desolate. Rudra realized that fortunately for him, tourists and health enthusiasts did not frequently inhabit this particular part of the waterfront. Most of the nearby cottages were owned as vacation resorts by the rich, and this was not the time of the year for families or children to frequent beaches. Also, the fact that it was not too close to the main city acted as a deterrent to the weekend crowd. I know you have many questions. I will answer them when the time's right for you and for me too. Timing is of the essence. Otherwise, it is like throwing pearls to animals. If that happens, then both the one who throws pearls and the person to whom the pearls are thrown to are not ready. Sit. They walked towards the dry sand, settled down on soft, cool, golden brown earth, and for a while they stared at the vast sea in front of them. Rudra was used to the sudden phases of silence. For hours, Baba would spend time withdrawn deep within his own self, his ups silently moving in prayer. Strangely, Rudra, is it lips? Uh, okay.
Yes, I think wherever ups comes, it's a typo for lips.
Acha.
Even in the previous thing, somewhere it had come like that when I was reading.
Earlier too. Yeah. So yeah, his lips silently moving in prayer. Strangely, Rudra felt much calmer during those periods, as though in some strange way, the silence in Baba permeated Rudra's very being and calmed his turbulent subconscious mind. Rudra was used to silence. Being in the present moment often allowed him to be silent for hours at a stretch. But being silent along, just a second, it got. But being silent along with Baba took him to another level of peace. With Baba, Rudra felt calm and silent, not only in the mind, but also in his heart and in every fiber of his body. It was as though from swimming on the surface, Rudra has begun to dwell deep and swim in the exotic aquatic inhabitants in the ocean of life itself. Rudra looked towards the water that appeared like a palette brimming with various colors. In parts, dull brown, very blue in others, and yet more shimmering silver. All of a sudden, he remembered his children and wondered. All of a sudden, he remembered his children and wondered what they were doing at the moment. Did they miss him? Did they love him? Did they believe in all the allegations thrown at him? Did they feel his pain and comprehend his love? Did they realize that he preferred to be silent rather than indulge in mudslinging? Did they understand that his silence was not his weakness, but his cross, as it was only through silence that he would not get down to the same base level of the counter accusations and ridiculous allegations. Often he had been told to fight back, but fight whom? The mother of his children? How does one fight the one who has given birth to one's own blood and breath? He had been abused, wronged, character castrated, but he remained silent, for at least that way he did not cause more harm to his children. His God knew the truth, and that was fine with him. Yes, he too was at fault, but the honest truth was that he was not the only one at fault. Yet, yes, he was no saint, but he was certainly far from the devil he was being made out to be. The fact was that he was only human. The fact was that he had given his compassion to the wrong people. Silence, silence, not only in words but also in thought, is important. There is no sense, there's no sense being silent on, sorry, there's no sense being silent on the outside, but inside burning and mentally abusing the world in general. Silence means tranquility. Verbally
Verbally
and from
and
within.
from within. Stop there
Verbally,
for a moment.
sure.
Let us see.
Mhm.
What are the key messages anybody has noted?
Well, I know what I felt like with the conditions that Baba, like the saint or the fakir kept, was that like probably he's just the extended imagination of Rudra, and he was not present, and he didn't want. If Rudra mentions about him, then people will take him as a fool or like as some kind of insane. So that was the reason he kept those conditions. And perhaps about the silence, yes, because as I say, recently when I went to Vipassana, they said noble silence, but my mind would not be silent. So I was thinking, what's the point?
I think even that the rules that he gives kind of makes you suspect whether he's visible to the others or only
Yeah,
to him.
exactly. That's what he's the extended imagination of Rudra. That's what I felt.
Huh.
See, one
Because
key
he tells him not
takeaway,
to talk about him, not to mention his physical presence.
because he didn't want the others to think Rudra is a fool.
Hmm.
Key message.
That's
But he was visible when the at the scene of the what was supposed to be an accident where he was lying in that pool of blood.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
time the other two cars, people of the other two cars could see him and say leave the old man and things like that. But whether it was only temporary and he is visible to others is something that becomes questionable now, since he's giving him those rules.
One key takeaway that I see is in this sentence. Timing is of essence.
you're right, sir.
Otherwise, it is like throwing pearls. See, interestingly, I was translating a book from for spiritual tablets, which talks about the wind concept, right? So for everything, there is a right time to do. So the importance of timing is extremely critical. That is one thing that we should never forget, right? And the other one is what we learned from this one, the power of now, or in nature of your personal reality. The power is in the moment. Being in the present moment often allowed him to be silent for hours at a stretch. That is because either past nor future is coming out to impact his school of thought. Last but not the least is this sentence, which is going to somewhere repeat in the next para probably that we are reading, or the next subsection. Silence not only in words but also in thoughts is important. There is no sense being silent on the outside but burning inside, because silence means tranquility verbally and from within. That makes a lot of sense, I think. Any comments from anyone?
Even that part earlier, just a little above, no, sir, where he says silence was not his weakness but his cross. It's a
Yes.
paragraph above, I think.
That is true.
That also where he's using that to hold those feelings and not behave the way the other person has, kind of a feeling comes in the previous para.
The other reason that silence is important and being in the present is very critical is past is something that we brood upon, either positively or negatively. Future is something that we express our anxiety. So neither
We're
of
anticipating
is
about
good.
it. Yeah.
Neither of them.
Sir, I believe silence is a powerful tool for getting inner peace also, as well as ignore other people.
Yes, that is
But
true.
mind भी silent होना चाहिए ना, mind silent नहीं होता है.
नहीं,
That's the
माइंड
problem.
साइलेंस रहेगा ना जब आप समझ रहे हो कि ये इग्नोर करना है and you choose to be a silence, it will be powerful tool. And when you want to go inner, then you also use silence to start with the getting peace in your mind, Am I right or I'm thinking
But
wrong?
silence,
You are
see,
not thinking
silence
wrong. Yeah. Yeah, Balagar. you
out, outside silence, yeah, some people they maintain, but the most important inner silence, not to blame others and going back and dwelling in the past, that is very hard for some people, especially if something bad happens. It is very difficult for them to excuse some people and also to come out of it. They keep dwelling, whatever we say, it has to come on their own. And they had, like, it's like what I'm saying is inner silence is much more difficult than outer silence.
But when we become judgmental about anything, then
Yeah.
you lose your peace of mind.
That's why even becoming non-judgmental, I think it's a very good quality, but everybody, like we had to acquire, and do the, practice that every day in every moment. But what I'm saying is some people, they maintain silence outside. It doesn't mean they are maintaining inner silence.
No, that is true.
Yeah, you
Actually,
might
that
be
is visible. They may maintain external silence, but internal silence is what is visible. Face is the
That's
index
much
of the
more
mind.
important. Yeah.
either you're
Automatically
holding
grudge.
either you're
Yeah.
holding a lot of anger and resentment to the person with whom you're having the silence on the outside, or you're holding within hurt and cringing inside but keeping silent outside.
Yeah, but in
Yep.
that situation, you will be not a calm person.
Yes, in both.
Somebody
both.
can visit, when look at you, they can see that. You are silent, but your mind is against, hot, your mind is hot inside. Turbulent, right?
But when you're retaining your silence outside and even within you're not allowing it to affect you to the same way, then it's silence even within.
Right.
That is why this being present is the very powerful tool. Even though it is hard, we had to practice it. Then we'll come out of it slowly.
Yeah, that is very true.
And I think even having that belief that whatever is happening for some reason, and things are going to be
Yeah.
fine. That kind of thing also allows that inner silence.
Yes, then we being in spirituality, we think, okay, we are learning something from whatever happened. We move on. This is a lesson for us. Instead of dwelling on it, whatever happened.
Sometimes also I think that if you are silent, say something is hot going around you, argument, and you be a silent, you don't want to participate in that, then other person get chance to think about what is I'm saying, and it make sometimes outcome will be better because
That's
you are
correct.
not
Definitely.
you are not in argument. That's why.
It is
You're
basically all
you're not
permutations
passing
and
the
combinations and trials and errors, because something works for someone, something doesn't. So it's all different,
And
You are
sometimes, yeah. So when we cultivate some qualities like listening, kind, service, those things will automatically, calm us down. So just we need to cultivate those. That's what I feel. Mm.
Who goes next? मीना जी, आप पढ़ना चाहेंगे next? After a long time.
Modali
we
ji,
are
abhi
going to-
2 week I can't read.
Okay.
2
Okay.
weeks they have. I'm trying to turn on my camera, but I can't. I just had a eye surgery yesterday, so 2 weeks they have
Okay.
told me not
Okay,
to
okay.
read or
No
look at their
problem.
phone.
No problem.
I can read, and if nobody is there.
Yeah. No. There are so many, but I think we go next to Bala.
Okay.
After Bala to Vaishal.
You are okay. He missed his children, but he had one consolation that nobody could take away from him. Up to the time he had been with them, he had been a great father. He had given them his very soul. He had gone through hell and back in order to give them peace and a healthy childhood. And he had succeeded. Whatever mess took place, at least he had never involved them, even if that meant losing them forever. When the allegations and accusations were fired, he did not want them to be confused and caught in the crossfire. So he did what he thought was best. He did not retaliate. Heaven knew that he got hurt, but that was all right. If by hating him, the kids could live a better and a less confused life, then so be it. It was better for them to hate him than live with confusion, guilt, and fear. So he had relinquished his rights over them. One thing he was certain about, and that was he would never use his kids to fight his war. He would never fire a gun from their tiny shoulders. He would rather be dead, be alone all his life, be miserable all his life, rather him than them, his little lives. It's all a drama, son. The important thing is to live it with class. Silence has its own way of clearing its path. It takes time, but always remember, never ever resort of backbiting, character assassination, mud singling, fabrication. Never. Whether one is right or wrong or in the wrong, never ever resort to abusing somebody. As soon as you do that, you are in the wrong pathway. Show your class boy what is yours, nobody can take away from you. What is not, you can bend heaven and hell, you will never retain it for long. That is the law of the universe. God is just and God is merciful, and God has given each and every creation of his very breath. God loves all, but son, for sure, he is not blind. There is a reason, and a reason for every moment he has created. Eventually, we are all part of him, and thus we all are a part of each other. When you accuse and abuse and fabricate, son, you're abusing and accusing and fabricating against him, your very own and your own very own self. Silence, not only in words, but also in thought, is important. There is no sense being silent on the outside, but inside burning and mentally abusing the world in general. Silence means tranquility, verbally and from within. Yes, you may hurt and be in pain, and that is natural. When somebody cuts your hand, blood is going to ooze out and you are going to be in pain. But as long as there is no hatred, all is well. Hatred is the heaviest cross of all, my son. Even the heaviest pity the person who carries the cross of hatred, as this cross gets heavier and heavier by the moment. Always be in peace and be in silence. Even if you can be in one such state, you can live through nobly. You can live through nobly. Baba smiled and tears flowed down Rudra's face. He had never hated anybody. In spite of all that occurred, not once had he hated any of those involved in destroying him. Hatred burnt one's very soul. It ate into the very fiber of life. Nobody was that important. Faith comes in various intensities. Intention, and in a way, it is karmic. You can be born with faith, or have faith introduced to you, or have faith rammed into you. Faith can be inborn or nurtured. It can be your last option to retain your sanity or your anchor to go through life. Very often, when a person's back is to the wall, he will clutch onto the either faith or hate. Both these emotions have their intensities and outcomes. The problem disappears, and so does faith or hate. Sometimes it doesn't matter whether the problem remains or is solved or only gets worse. Faith or hate remains. It depends on the maturity of the soul and one's upbringing and priorities. Anyway, let us discuss faith. Many expect that just because they have faith, their life should be like a bed of roses. They demand that because they have faith, they should have no problems in life whatsoever. They feel that as they pray and chant the name of God, this entitles them to a life of no strife, no problems, free from all the issues that can ruffle their tranquil but shallow waters. In short, they want life all smooth, no downs, all rosy, all rosy. God forbid something even slightly goes against their conception of a perfect life, and they begin to question God, creation, and all the heavens above. They are of that firm belief that because they have been taken the time out from their busy schedule and have prayed or performed a noble deed or indulged in charity or whatever, the heavens above should be in their call, and mercy and instant gratification is not only desired, but bloody well expected. This type of faith breaks easily. Along with the faith breaking easily, so does the heart. They are like children who expects the very heavens to dance to their tune. They are good souls, but young souls are souls that refuse to understand that God is not complex, but the rules of life are entwined with the past and what is best for them in the future. When a child suffering from chronic asthma cries for an ice cream and the mother refuses to indulge him, aware that the ice cream could create a major health situation for the child and even hospitalization, then the deprivation of the ice cream is best for the child. The child may think otherwise, but the mother knows best. A simple example, but I assume you have got the point. As I told you before, throwing pearls to an animal is not only a waste of pearls, but speaks poorly about the one throwing the pearls to. I can assure you, God above has never ever wasted a pearl. Saying this, Baba smiled and once again for a while remained quiet, as though allowing Rudra to assimilate that had been said. The old man looked so much like Sai Baba of Shirdi, with the white robe, beard, white bandana on the head, soft smile, deep tender eyes, and often Rudra would get tears in his eyes and would want him to hug the old man. He loved the old man, loved his temperament and simplicity. He had realized that Baba was not at all particular about food and comfort. Feed him anything, however simple or tasteless, howsoever complex and delicious, it was all eaten with the same grace and pleasure. Baba loved tea, though he would often joke about the tea Rudra made. Rudra realized that he asked for the tea often. His chilium, his tea, and his oil lamp were the only things the old man showed any sort of emotion towards. Hatred is the heaviest cross of all, my son. Even the heavens pity the person who carries the cross of hatred, as this cross gets heavier and heavier by the moment. Always be in peace and be in silence. Even if you can be in one such state, you can live through nobly. You can live through nobly.
We'll stop
No.
here and have a
Yeah.
discussion.
Sure.
Yeah. So what are the takeaways from this chapter?
So he's saying even if you throw like whatever wise points at the people who are ignorant, so they don't get into, like they don't take it wisely.
Come again? I missed it.
So when he's saying don't throw the pearls at animals and these are waste of pearls, so what does it mean? Does it mean that when you are saying wise things to a person who doesn't understand, it's a waste of time?
Yes.
Balaji, can I add one thing on this?
Sure.
Sir, can I?
Yeah.
So in Hindi, there are two kahavat. I'll tell in English too as well. So one is bhans ke aage been bajana, and the other one is बेवकूफों को दो पैसा दे दो but अकल मत दो. So what it means is that there's no point.
Can you just repeat the second one? Please repeat the second.
बेवकूफों को, बेवकूफों मतलब like not exactly stupid, but like kind of stupid, like, or who is like, who doesn't want to understand, or who's too adamant not to understand. बेवकूफ, बेवकूफों को दो पैसा दे दो.
Arrogant.
Kind of. हाँ, दो पैसा दे दो but अकल मत दो. मतलब don't give them the advice or like how they were telling the pearls of wisdom. So if someone is hell bent not to listen to you or not to understand you or not to at least try doing that, then it's better just be quiet, or don't waste your energy or your efforts in trying to make them understand. So similarly, I guess that's what this paragraph was telling, that God also gives those to only those who seek for it or who needs it, is what I understood from that. And also those two quotes from, not quotes, like sayings from Hindi.
Basically, when you're ready for it, once you have
You need, and
matured
yeah,
yourself in a level where you're ready for taking that wisdom.
yes, exactly. Yes.
Let's hear out Meena ji.
So one of the thing that really touched my heart, and it's kind of like something that really has helped me in my life. It says that like whatever is yours, you're going to get it, and whatever is not yours, no matter how hard you try to latch onto it or hold on to it, it's not going to be yours. And like that is kind of like something that really helps, because when you feel like somebody's cheated you out of your thing, right? Having that wisdom and faith kind of makes you help move on to say, "ठीक है, हमने past life I might have taken it from him, I paid him back. Let's not worry about it." Versus having a grudge against that person or thinking about that negatively. So I think that when I heard it here, it really touched me.
Yeah. See, fundamentally, Vaishali.
Yes, sir. I just want to add it one more point from this paragraph, or the what we read so far, is that talking about when you do all puja part and everything, like you say that that doesn't mean that God is going to give you everything what you want. He can give you a strength to go through the situations of life where you can, instead of getting completely destroyed or distraught, but don't think that since you are doing all puja and everything, that everything will be smooth ride or red carpet for you in life.
That is true. See, the key message in that part of the sentence is
Not with expectation.
not with expectation is one side. The other side is basically, if you do something, right, don't take anything for granted. Nobody should take anything for granted. You should not do something wherein you do a bit or you desire the universe to help you. Doesn't mean that you have asked help and you will be given. It means that you have asked your help, but you continue to do what you have. There is nothing that you ask and it is yours. That is one takeaway. The other one that he beautifully brought out the situation of his life, about his missing the children, and then never try to blame or involve children into something where they need not get involved. They need not become party to something. That is a message for bringing up the kids. See, even if they are going to hate you, do what is best for the children, not what your heart desires, but what is best for the children. That is one takeaway that I found quite useful.
Yeah, this point is helpful in the families, whoever is going through divorce with the kids and all.
Yes. No, I think
yeah.
that is what has happened to him.
Even otherwise.
This para, that is the silent, subtle message that I got. Right?
Yeah.
And
That's
Baba takes that as an example and then explains giving away certain laws of nature, which are very, very important for one to never get into mudslinging. Your mudslinging, your character assassination, fabrication, all these things actually take you away from following the law of nature, law of the universe. That law of the universe was a very important point.
Sir, I would like to add only one point or of my personal experience over here, which is related to this paragraph. So they're saying that hate word is the heaviest cross, right? So usually even for the kids in the school, they teach, don't use the word hate, because hate is a very strong word. And I've always avoided. I mean, like, to be frank, I never felt that emotion for anyone, and lucky me. And also I have always taken care of that my kids or someone around me don't use that word. But recently in the sense, like maybe a year and a half back or something, I used that word only once in my life, and you'll not believe, and that too, it was for Baba. I was in that level of mindset that for the first time I ever used, and that too, it was for my favorite person in the world, who's everything, and I used that word for him. But I guess that's when, everything started like turning, towards the right direction. I don't know. I don't know the coincidence, or the interdependence of those two things. But that's when my life started, like, I came into this field, or getting more and more into this journey. So I just wanted to use about like how they have mentioned about this word hate in this paragraph. So this is my personal experience when it comes to that particular word.
It's like whether you are, saying that word in a moment of high emotion, or you're like saying it because you really believe in it. That also depends on that moment. If you're saying it at that moment and then after that, like you're not feeling the same anymore, then it's just a release of emotion.
Yeah, actually, I never felt that for anyone. That was the only one time of my lifetime, and only one time that I used, and that too against Baba. It's very, even if I remember, I just, I'm sorry, but it happened.
Well, it happens.
Yes.
Right. But yeah, see, this particular highlighted component, these three, right? They are having a very, very powerful message. Can you identify what it is?
Because here the mother, when he's referring to his God, God knows when to give, what to give. It is
You
best.
call it God or you
And
call
if
it
he's
universe?
not,
Yeah, the universe. Yeah.
and if you're being deprived of something that you're feeling, it may be actually for your good, like the ice cream for that child.
Yeah.
So you need to try to, when you are asking this question, right? Actually, it was Bala ma'am who asked this question. This throwing pearls to an animal is not only a waste of pearls, but speaks poorly about the one throwing the pearls to. Right? It's a double-edged sword. In the sense, see, you may desire anything that you want, but you will only be getting what is yours. And what is yours, nobody can take away. And what is not yours, whatever you do, you will not get. Right? So, the way we need to digest that and then follow this particular advice is saying that Believe that you have put your request. Believe that Mother Nature knows what is good for you. That is why when you go to a guru also and say, I want something, the guru may give you what you have asked for, but he will definitely give you what you deserve and what you need. Right? So that realization and trying to put in efforts, barking at a wrong tree, go to an apple tree and say, I want grapes, you will not get it. So that realization is what he is actually trying to say. Don't waste your efforts unnecessarily. What is yours, you will get. What is not yours, whatever you do, you will not get. So don't keep on talking about it and harming yourself there. That is the key message I got when you asked me that question, Balaga. Yeah. So shall we continue? Hatred is the heaviest of all cross. Yeah, that is true. ठीक है. चलो. So who
Do
is
you
going?
want me to read? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ashali.
somebody can.
Ashali,
Shall I,
you wanted to read, right? Go next.
Yes,
shall I
sir.
read? Oh, Vaishali, okay.
Okay. I want to read this hatred is the heaviest cross one more time. It's so beautiful.
Oh, definitely.
Hatred is the heaviest. Hatred is the heaviest cross of all, my son. Even the heavens pity the person who carries the cross of hatred, as this cross gets heavier and heavier by the moment. Always be in peace and be in silence. Even if you can be in one such a state, you can live through nobly. Now comes the second category of faith seekers or faith holders. The second category are advanced souls, but still caught up in the transaction of give and take, though in a different manner. Remember, we are not judging people or their faith or purity. We don't judge. Only He does, and He's merciful. We are only discussing various types of faith, and my belief that one who has the ultimate faith is never ever let down. The second type of faith is more intense. In this type of faith, the person believes that because he or she has faith in God or Master, miracles are not only possible but also guaranteed. They don't get upset when tough times come. They don't get shattered when fatal illness enter their life or the life of near and dear ones. They don't get paranoid when the financial bankruptcy knocks at their door. They are certain, as confident as the sun shall rise in the east and set in the west, that their God or Master will pull them through the crisis with everything intact. Their usual mantra is, I have full faith in my Master that she will take care of this problem. I have full faith in my God that this incurable disease will be cured. I have complete faith that my Master will resolve this financial crisis. They even go to the extent of saying, this is not my problem. This is my Master's problem. And
Yeah, I know she
I know
will
He,
take care of.
yes,
Yeah.
take care of it. Or I have full faith in my prayers and I will sail through these issues. What the person is trying to tell the Master or God is that because I have full faith in you, you better take care of my problems or don't let my faith down. It is like treating your Master God, your prayers like an astral waiter. It's like telling your Master that just because I have come to you, to your restaurant, the food better be good and you better deliver. Like saying, I have invested my time, love, and energy by having faith in you. So you'd better not let me down. They are sure that their faith in their Master will resolve all issues, but sometimes they have to go through their share of hard experiences. It is meant to be. In fact, the hard experiences are initiated by the Master to help them speed up their spiritual journey, to evolve them higher, to jumpstart their spiritual growth. Or it could be very karmic, and the Master feel that it is best to go through the experience and finish with your karma that is binding you on the physical plane. It is a complex web, and it is the master who knows what's best for you. Now to tell your master, I have faith that you will not let this happen to me, is like telling your surgeon, I have full faith that you will not cut me up and you will not operate. Then why go to the surgeon? And if you have gone to the surgeon, let the poor chap do his job. Yes, the operation will be performed in a manner no other surgeon can perform. But the operation is a must. Telling the surgeon, I have full faith that you will not perform the operation is not being very wise. Yes, there are times the surgeon might advise a way out of the operation or perform it in a manner that the recovery is phenomenal. Now we come to the most sublime form of faith. It's a collect graceful surrender. How do I define this form of faith? It is as finely chiseled as a straw of grass.
Vaishali ma'am, you
as
skipped the last 3 lines of the previous paragraph.
No,
Oh,
she,
really?
she read it. She read it.
Did I read? Yeah.
Which one? Telling the
She read
surgeon
it.
I have full faith. She
She
read it.
read it. She read it.
Okay, then maybe I lost audio in between. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Do you want me to read again?
Yeah, better.
Okay. Telling the
Start
surgeon, I
here.
have full faith.
No, start from here. Yes, the operation will be.
Okay. Sure. Yes, the operation will be performed in a manner no other surgeon can perform, but the operation is a must. Telling the surgeon, I have full faith you will not perform the operation is not being very wise. Yes, there are times the surgeon might advise a way out of the operation or perform it in a manner that the recovery is phenomenal. Now we come to the most sublime form of faith. It's collect graceful surrender. How do I define this form of faith? It is as finely chiseled as a straw of grass and as strong as the roots of a banyan tree. It is because of this faith that even God hesitates before letting loose his wrath. The God lover or God child who has this faith flowing through the soul has no expectation and no demands. There is no devotee or disciple too. There is just pure grace and surrender.
Hold there.
Yeah, this paragraph is quite deep.
No, right from where you started,
Okay.
right? So each one, any observations from anybody?
Sir, can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I think it's saying basically karmane vadikaste ma phalesu kadachana. That is, do your work, karma, without expecting any rewards out of that.
To some extent, yes. But much before all that, he is talking about the types of faiths. The first faith is, I have prayed to you, you better do my job. You are demanding. That kind of thing generally happens when the soul is young. The second kind of faith he is talking about is, it is a give and take. आप मेरा ये काम कर दो, मैं आपका ये काम कर दूंगा. So that is based on the kind of give and take trust. The third one is one that doesn't have a demand, that doesn't have an expectation, right? So which one is useful where?
सर जो आपने सेकंड वाला
The
बताया
last
मुझे
one.
वैसे नहीं लग रहा है सर.
क्यों नहीं?
आप बोल रहे हैं कि ना इट्स अ गिव एंड टेक, बट उसमें क्या है ना, वेरी डीप फेथ की ना वो हेल्प करेंगे नहीं, बट इट इज गारंटेड. यू जस्ट डोंट हैव इवन अ सिंगल स्कोप ऑफ एनी डाउट. लाइक आई
No, I
डोंट थिंक सो
was
देयर इज अ
reading
गिव एंड
from
टेक.
here.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा,
Second
मैं नीचे का
category
पढ़.
are advanced souls, but still caught up in the
अच्छा
transaction of give and take, though in a
अच्छा अच्छा,
different manner.
हाँ मैं नीचे वाला पढ़ रही थी, बट आल्सो गारंटीड है ना. So the
Hmm.
second type of faith is more intense. In this type of faith, the person believes that because he or she has faith in God or Master, miracles are not only possible but also guaranteed. So what I personally felt is that third wala the बहुत मुश्किल है, I really have to, but second wala is,
This is second wala mein he's talking
हाँ,
about this. The theme on which that particular faith is built is like a transaction of give and take.
okay.
But sir, when we have faith and we have surrenderness, then you don't have to worry. Just you do it your work
No,
and
but
get
that
it
there
done
with that
without
single sentence of
expectation.
yours, but Dineshji, with that single sentence of yours, you are taking me to the third form of faith. In the second form of faith, he is very clearly saying, right? So we do not judge. Only he does the judgment. He doesn't. But your faith is, I have done this, he will do it.
Right.
Hmm. So we are only discussing the various types of faith, and my belief that the one who has the ultimate faith is never ever let down. Ultimate faith is never let down, come what may. That means the right time has not come, so I will continue to do what I have believed.
Correct.
The second type of faith is more intense. In this type of faith, the person believes that because he or she has faith in God or Master, miracles are guaranteed. It is the same thing, Archana. Here also, if they are guaranteed means there is a transaction. Faith है तो मेरा results guaranteed है.
नहीं, but
But
you're
जो
not आप ना से like ये मन्नत जैसे नहीं है ना कि आप ये करेंगे तो मैं ये चढ़ाऊंगा and all that. It's just
नहीं
pure
वैसा नहीं
blind
है, but
surrender ना. हाँ.
no, you have
sir,
not surrendered here. No, the second type of faith is more intense. In this type of faith, the person believes that because he or she has faith in God or Master, miracles are not only possible but are guaranteed.
पर
Because
एक
go
में
ahead.
तो आप सॉरी एक में आप बता रहे हो तो बार्गेनिंग हो गया ना.
हाँ मुझे भी
ये तो
वैसे ही लग रहा था.
बार्गेनिंग ही है ना, ये बार्गेनिंग ही है. ये इतना इंटेंस है कि मैंने भगवान का माना है तो भगवान मिरेकल करेगा. मिरेकल नहीं होगा, मिरेकल
तो
करेगा.
वो तो सरेंडर हुआ ना सर, वो तो सरेंडर
The
हुआ ना
second
सर,
one
वो faith है ना.
surrendered completely.
तो सरेंडर हुआ ना
Second
सर.
one is not surrender. That's what I'm trying to say.
Third one is surrender without expectation.
Exactly. Where there are no expectations, there are no demands. लेकिन यहाँ पे है, this faith is based on the result that you are going to get.
So basically, second one is the surrender with expectation, and third one is surrender without expectation. Is like what I मेरे ख्याल से sir, what I assume, like what I am thinking. It's like those difference, surrender with expectation and surrender without expectation.
नहीं, see यहाँ पे even if it comes, endurance is built into the surrender part. Endurance is built, like he says here, right? They do not get upset when tough times come. Such people who have this kind of a faith, though it is transactional, they have the faith to that extent that if tough time comes, right, my God will take care of it. I don't have to bother about it because it is not my problem. It is my Master, my God's problem.
Sir, how can you think like that, sir? Like, if you are facing a problem, shouldn't you address it and try to solve it? How can you?
Okay, you know the
No,
story
that's
of Ramana Maharshi with cancer, right?
See, a problem means it need not be a disease on your body, sir, but it could be, as he said, a financial problem, or our kid might be going through a tough time because they are kids, even we will be affected, or a family
Correct.
member in our family
But,
might be going.
correct, but
Madhuji, but for that,
are you saying that because if there is a delay in the problem getting cured, your God is not with you?
No, I'm not saying that, sir.
That is the point he's
Should
making. whichever problem it is, your faith is so intense that God will certainly take care of it. That is the approach you are taking in the second category.
No, what I'm saying is keeping faith in God that He would help me. Along with, we also should be doing something about it. Not just Galilo
No, no,
Deepam Petti Odilaitam Kakunda, that God will take care of it.
see, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
He's with
There
the level that
he is taking three categories. The first one is, I am doing this, so it is my birthright that you have to meet my requirement. Right? That is the first category. The second category is intense. Even though there is a give and take, right? If something hits you, your take on that problem is, my God, it is not my problem. It is my God's problem. It is my master's problem. He or she will take care of my problem. I have full faith. It is surrender to that extent. That you
But
are not
this-
going, you are not the doer in the second case.
So,
But
sir, you are
what-
saying
what
that
he's
it is
saying also, but what he's also saying is they have that attitude, but somewhere they have this transaction of give and take, because when they're saying that with full faith and something goes wrong, because like God thinks that they need to go through certain things to grow. That time they don't, it's like the surgeon example that he gives, that they're saying that because I'm saying that I don't want it, you see that it is not there, even though it is necessary for me to grow. So it is like saying you'll take care of it, so you'll see that I won't get it, is like telling that surgeon, that don't give me the operation.
Surgeon is the
So
third type.
sometimes God needs to make you go through that operation or go through that experience, which may be against that faith that you have, that I shouldn't be experiencing this, maybe pain or maybe bad health or maybe financial crisis. You say that, okay, I trust you and that you will take care of it, but he might still give you that, and how you react to it at that time might turn out to be a give and take. Like, how can you do this when I had faith in you?
That is
सर
also-
आप ये सर ऑल्सो आप ये कहना चाहते हो ना कि इट्स टेकन ग्रांटेड, राइट? द पर्सन इज टेकिंग,
their faith is so intense that they treat the problem that has hit them as not their problem. This is the problem of the God.
या वही मैं वही बता रहा हूँ ना कि आप ये कहते हैं कि प्रॉब्लम मेरा नहीं है, गॉड का है, आई टेकन ग्रांटेड ही विल रिजॉल्व.
Yes, I've taken it for granted that he will take care of my problem. I trust him. I trust him. Right? So ये कहाँ तक जा सकता है? This type of faith, right? It is continuing. Sometimes they have to go through their share of hard experiences. It is meant to be, in fact, the hard experiences are initiated. So where it comes to a master or the God, right? The master may want you to undergo that because there is a hidden benefit somewhere else. That is the point he is making here. In the second time, it starts there, but it goes through, and even if you are going through the problem, you will not let that harm you. समझ गए ना?
Sir, total surrender is like, even if whatever your expectation and it doesn't get fulfilled, you need to understand that there is some other purpose from the universe, like they want you to go through that. Because in the give and take thing, you always expect it. Agar ho gaya pura tumhara expectation, then you are happy with God, and then you still your faith is intact, and otherwise you'll start cursing God if it doesn't go your way.
That is the second one.
Yes.
The third one is this one. ये यहाँ पे जो है, this is the third one. Now we come to the
So whether
most
you're
sublime of faith. It's collect graceful surrender. This is the surrender experiment का जो lessons बोलता है ना वो है. How do I define
So
this?
that's
form of
what I
faith?
was going to say.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
this
third
is the
type
third one.
is
Yeah.
like full surrender. Though it seems difficult, that's where there's acceptance, and you accept. You don't even see it as a problem, right? You're accepting. Jo hota hai, like they were saying, Vaishali ma'am was saying, it'll happen. There's a lesson to be learned, and the person accepts everything gracefully, so there is no problem at all. They don't even see it as a problem.
No,
And
see, that
I
is
think
what he said. See, India very beautifully pointed out. See, this is the fundamental strength or the crux of this relationship.
yeah, and I think Archana ma'am differentiated very well, saying it is surrendered with expectation in the second case, and the third one it's surrendered with acceptance. So there is no expectation, nothing. Everything is whatever is happening for me itself. So
So, see, the second one is not just with expectation.
it's a little confusing. Yes.
Because there is expectation.
This
at
is
the
going
same
on.
time, there is also a realization. The second one, there is also a realization that
But there's
it is meant to be. In fact, the hard experiences are initiated by the masters to speed up their spiritual journey, to evolve them. That level of maturity is also there in the second one.
Sir, sometimes also comes some experience like that in your life. You tried everything, every aspect, every angles to resolve the situation. Then you get frustrated and then you say, hey, I cannot do anything. Now let it go and let God or universe, whatever decide, I will take it. Because
Well,
it is beyond your control.
but that's not surrender, sir. That is
No, I'm not saying it is
giving up.
surrender. It
Oh,
is
okay.
giving up. It is a situation of giving up because you tried every
that is,
corner
yeah,
to,
see,
yeah.
correct. So the crux of the first category is I am having faith, I have a right to demand. The second category is I have faith that I am mature. So my maturity tells me that having faith will resolve my problem. Come what may. I don't have to go and blame that my problem has not been addressed or something else is happening. Right? Now, the third category is this one. The third category is the one where it is absolutely total surrender. There is no question of he is my God, I am not the God and all that. It is because of this faith that even God hesitates, right? So this is total surrender is the third one. There is just pure grace and surrender. If you read this portion, we will get that clarity. Yeah, Vishali, you can continue.
Make certain you never have to. Okay. Make certain you never have to suffer from that medical problem ever again in your life. Make sure that your recovery is painless and quick and that you feel no pain during and after the operation. All this can be taken care of, but the operation is a must. Remember, child, I'm not judging these people, just explaining to you the different types of faith. Now, if the miracle does take place, the usual comment is, I knew my master would never let me down. My question is simple. Is your faith conditional? Is your faith about yourself? If the catastrophe did take place, would it mean your master or God or prayers have let you down? Would it mean the master don't have it in them as spiritual powerhouses to take care of your problem? And that is why you went through the crisis. Does it mean your master or God has to keep proving his or her power to you? In such cases, once again, there are innumerable chances of faith breaking your heart, and because once again your faith is conditional. When you have mantra that goes like, I have faith in you that you will not let me down and only do all that I desire, then my son, that is very conditional faith. But remember, in this category, at least these children of God are stronger and far more attuned with their master than most people. Spiritually, too, they are more connected and really trying to be in constant touch with their master and God. Thus, prayers and spirituality come more naturally to them, and day to day, small issues are taken as minor tests from their master to be overcome with grace. It is only when the volcano erupts that their faith becomes conditional. But through the turmoil too,
They are composed, confident, and handle the
yes,
situation with
they are composed, confident, and handle the situation with grace. But it is conditional, underwritten,
conditions apply.
sir, it's blurred.
Is it
The
blurred
screen
for
is
everyone?
blurred, sir. Yeah, I don't know, for me at least. Like, I can't even read.
Okay, I will do. But it is conditional. Underwritten conditions apply. I have faith that my master will deliver and not let me down. Rudra knew both these types of faith clearly. He had oscillated all his life between these two types of faith. He had known people, good people, who belong to both these categories of faith. Sometimes their faith amazed you, and sometimes sometimes made you wonder as to where this strength had fled. Mankind is a curious amalgam of heaven and hell, a strange contradiction of madness and genius, all rolled into one. Now, we come to the most sublime form of faith. It is called graceful surrender. How do I define this form of faith? It is as finely chiseled as a straw of grass and as strong as the roots of a banyan. It is because of this faith that even God hesitates before letting loose his rod. The God lover or God child who has this faith flowing through the soul has no expectations and no demands. There is no devotee or disciple too. There is just pure grace and surrender. If a disaster takes place, the child's very foundations are not shaken. The child also does not believe that I have full faith that my master will resolve this problem, or my master will never let me down, or I have complete faith in my master, God prayer, and that this catastrophe problem or adverse situation will be taken care of and I will come out unscathed. No. When a catastrophe does strike, the child of true faith, first of all, is aware that whatever is taking place is doing so with the approval of his or her master. Thus, whatever unpleasantness is happening around, the child is certain that the hard experience has arrived only after his or her master's approval. The person of the true faith is certain that the master has allowed the circumstances to enter his or her life for a purpose, and the child does not want to know the reason or purpose. He or she is content with the knowledge that nothing good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant, joy or grief can enter into his life without the consent of the master. If it has the consent of the master, then whatever the unpleasant experience be, death, illness, separation, betrayal, bankruptcy, agony, grief, ill repute, allegations, etc., 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 whatever It has arrived with a reason, and the master knows the reason, and the master has willed it. And if something has been approved and blessed by the master, then that is all that matters. So, this last one, this is the actual total surrender. All the others are conditional surrenders. That's the only takeaway that we have out of this. Right? Any comment from anyone?
Yes, sir. As you said, that's the crux of the
Yes.
story so far, what we read.
So there are three types. The first one is there is a I have faith in you, but I have the right to demand. I have prayed to you, so it is your bloody well your job to take care of. Category one. Generally manifested in young souls. Then slightly grown up souls. The second category. Come what may, there is a give and take in the sense my faith is such that my master will give me what I desire. So there is a condition attached. My faith is conditional even though there is a takeaway. Yes, there is no demand, but there is an expectation. The last and final is the one where the understanding of the word faith here is whatever I require, I will get. Whatever I need to undergo, I will get. That is the kind of total surrender related. Any comments from anyone?
Sir, I just wanted to ask,
Yeah.
where would you categorize like Prahlad and Meera, and those are total surrenders?
Exactly, that's
Prahlad
what I
and
was
Meera,
also
yes,
thinking also.
it is total surrender. Both of them.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
as when we listen to the story, it looks like they are doing it because they knew God would take care of them, kind especially, right? So
No, why
maybe
are you saying
they,
that? No, why are you saying?
because as when we were
वो
told,
story
that's
में है
how
ना
we
sir
were
कि
told.
प्रहलाद
Story
सोचता है
ऐसा ही
कि he
बताते
can,
हैं ना. Yeah, that's what.
in the
But maybe
story
they
it
were
was
doing
there.
in total.
No, one person at
But-
a time. Yeah.
We are saying
Yeah,
the same
Vindhya,
thing.
you
So
complete
anyone.
then. Yeah, Vindhya, you
So I
complete
was
then.
saying, sir, story ऐसा बताया गया ना हमको कि वो लोग like Prahlad, he knew his like that his God will protect him. That's why he was willing to go through like that. They explained to us.
No,
So
see,
it is
that,
possible
no,
that they.
now, is it your interpretation or someone's interpretation?
Yeah, that's what I'm confused. But story ऐसा ही बताया
Is
गया.
it
So
your,
I'm not sure.
did you read the original
क्या
for you to interpret? You are going by what has been shown in a movie. That is somebody's interpretation.
I think so. He had full faith in his God, sir.
See,
Right.
it is the third, it is definitely the third because they both Meera and Prahlad went through so many unpleasant experiences, but it did not shatter their faith.
Correct.
They were going along with whatever life gave them.
And they
And
never
all-
complained. They never complained. In spite of my faith, my God has given me this.
But they were taken care, right, sir? All the time.
They were taken care. That is God's benevolence.
Because they surrendered. They have faith and also surrender.
See, did
See, taken care
Prahlad
that
display
way.
any kind of a fear that he was going to be put to death? Because
He was
if
thrown
that was
off
the
a
case,
mountain.
my faith is
Yes.
such that my God will ensure that I don't get it. There was no expectation of that kind, right? In Prahlad or Meera, whatever hardships they were subjected to, they said it is what my God wants me to undergo. That was the statement. Even in the movie, that is what they show.
Yes.
Nowhere did Prahlad tell his father in advance, you do whatever you want, my God will take care of me. He underwent that. And he
Or
came back
is-
unscathed.
So just one more view on it. Not that I know much about it. I think bhakti probably is a little bit more deeper involvement than just surrender to the circumstances that you are facing it, is it not? Bhakti
Bhakti is a sentiment.
It is actually an involvement. You
No,
are
that is
deep
what is your
into
total,
it.
sir. But your total surrender again is the same deep involvement.
No,
Sir,
surrender
bhakti is not bhakti
surrender.
faith, sir.
Mali Chappama.
Bhakti and faith, are they not synonyms? Like one
That's
is
what
in
I
the
thought too.
I think they are different, because faith is something that you believe that God exists everywhere and God will protect you no matter what the conditions are. But bhakti is something that you love
Devotion.
God.
Devotion.
Sir, but the bhakti is
It is-
nothing
it is-
but the
it is-
third
it is-
category of faith.
Devotion.
No, sir. Bhakti is surrender. They are not separate. They are the same.
No,
Bhakti and
Yes.
surrender.
Yeah, I agree with that surrender. Yeah, bhakti, I think bhakti is surrender. With the devotion, you are surrendering to God.
Exactly.
I surrender to your
Yeah.
opinion.
Exactly. That is bhakti.
Finally, finally.
Sir, that is
Oh,
bhakti.
I never thought that word would come out of your mouth. Uncle.
Finally. Devotion with surrender. Wow.
Ramakrishna ji, you are convinced.
No, I mean, the way I feel is that I think the love of a mother to the kids is different from the love of wife to the husband, although it is the same person who is doing it, same feminine, same love that goes, which is common between the two. But I think there is a variation between these two types of loves.
Of course, the emotion is the different kind of emotion, right? I mean, it's different kind of, not emotion, the feeling, I
No,
guess.
in one feeling, you feel totally involved in it without actually knowing what it is.
So that is surrender. That is the surrender that he is meaning.
Yeah.
Right. So, for example, he is continuing, right? For in this form of faith, the person's philosophy is simple. Not a leaf moves and not a breath is taken without the approval of the master. Thus, neither good experiences nor hard circumstances can enter the person's life without the master's consent. Now, this philosophy is not as simple as it sounds. Also, this is not a fantastic approach to life, fatalistic approach to life. The person who lives this philosophy has left every breath, thought, action, repercussion, karma, life, here and beyond in the care of the master. The person gives his or her best to life and to every moment lived, but leaves this consequences to God and master without any expectation of reward or security or solace. This is the form that Bhakta Prahlad actually demonstrates. Same is the case with Mirabai. Right?
Sir, those are, I also wanted to add, those are stories, but now during COVID times, I have come across, and I'm sure many of us have, the two types. I've seen people, the second category, where they believed God will take care of their loved ones or themselves. But unfortunately, if someone did go pass away due to COVID, I've seen people totally break down and say, how come God did not take care? And the others who have said, oh, maybe his time has come. Yeah, and the third category, I'm thinking, are the ones who said, maybe his time has come and maybe, God has taken him. So am I right in thinking like that?
Yes. Shastri falls in the third category.
Their family, right?
No, not only his family, even he himself.
Yeah, he himself surrendered. Yes.
Right? So that is the third category.
It's hard, so sometimes to understand. I
That's
know,
what he says,
but
no. But
yeah.
if it has my master's approval, it will come to me. If it doesn't have, the master will stop it there itself. Right? He surrendered to the master.
So what does it mean that even God is afraid for this third category to actually, to give them?
To play around with them. He will also not let
Yes.
them. He will only let the good pass, or whatever he deserves only, he will let it pass. But he will not try to put his finger.
Yeah. I guess what we see as death is different from what it is. So that's where I think.
See,
Should
problem
there
is
not be a
our
question?
attachment. Actually,
Yeah.
Sir, I will come to you. Let me just finish with this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pardon me for interruption.
No, that's okay. See, here, the important message that is coming out is that for people who have that kind of expectation and the outcome did not work is one category. Right, India. Whereas the category that you are referring to is the third category, wherein total surrender. So either there is a condition attached that God will take care of me, why did he not take care of me? There is an expectation there. Here there is no expectation. If it has come up to me, means it is something that I have to undergo. That is how it has been positioned.
Yes.
So that is the third type that we are discussing.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to. I mean, we have seen both cases during COVID times. So yeah. Thank you.
Or can I say something in reference with the Ramakrishna ji question?
Yeah.
Okay, it came in my mind. Just it was working. What I say about regarding, he said about the love, correct? So the wife and husband love third party product. Okay. And the children is a own product, unconditional love. That I can differentiate that way.
You can, but is it true in all the cases?
Pardon?
Is that true in all the cases?
No, it is a majority time every mother will love unconditionally their child. But we are coming like a third party product, means wife and husband are not from the same product. It is from the somebody else. And you are trying to love each other and make a union, correct? So that love is differed from the mother's love towards kid. That I'm trying to analyze.
Yeah, I mean, see, one love is with give and take. Actually, in a family, you will see all these kinds of loves. When the parents grow old.
Because then it is mature.
No, if it is mature, then, right? If I don't take care also, they should not complain. But generally, parents' love is either in the first category or second category. It doesn't come up to the third category.
With expectation?
Yeah. No. I'm talking about the third one where there is total surrender.
Okay.
At least I have not seen it come.
Can I make one more point?
Yeah.
So even the mother and child love is only completely pure till the kid is small.
Correct.
Or when they're born. Afterward, it's not completely pure love. There is some
I-
expectation.
I would say
Yeah.
up to age of 7, 6, 7 years,
Yeah,
they are
that is true.
innocent. They are innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah, till that time we are like literally without iota of expectation, we are loving them, and afterward it's never that kind of love.
Yeah, that is why
Whether it is
even
fulfilled or not is completely.
yeah, that is why at
Yeah.
that age, even they say something to parents, a mother, she doesn't get hurt. But after a certain age,
Yeah,
the same person said something against, then we expect, why is he talking like this?
yes, very true.
But
let us come to
however,
yeah.
however, you will not think of avenging or offending the child, although child has been cruel to you. You wouldn't
But you
want
will get
any harm to the child. As against, you would want harm to your husband or wife, it doesn't matter, as long as they are not faithful to you. So there is a
No,
that is
difference
true,
there.
sir.
But maybe
Is the
so. It
level
may
of
be,
forgiveness maybe you have depending upon the love that you or the bonding that you have with the person. Maybe there are people who forgive their husband as well.
Yeah,
no,
but
but
forgiveness is
there is
something
one
different,
catch,
Amaikada.
there is
It's
one
not
catch
for,
to there is one catch to what you're saying, sir. In the sense, it's not that you're taking revenge or whatever, but you might set consequences in order to let the child learn and grow. So you might have like certain conditions kept, certain rules to be followed, certain consequences to action, so that it is not so the child learns and grows from that, and it's not repeated. So
no, Vidyaji,
similarly,
that's
even
a
the
different
master gives the
aspect.
similar.
No, that's a different aspect we are talking about. Disciplining is not what we are talking about. The feeling, basically. The love is a feeling.
Yes, yes. But what I'm
So,
saying is that it's so sometimes that doing an action with the child
yeah,
as a
that's
means
different.
of making the child grow can be viewed by the child as something that is revenge, or that is something that is not supposed to be done. Which is exactly
but-
the same thing between the master and the second person in the second level of faith.
Yeah,
Where
if you
as a
remember
parent,
what Archana, sorry Priya ma'am, if you
Yeah.
remember what Archana has shared last week, she said her father, was very strict and he used to discipline her very much. At that time, at a young age, she did not like it. But now she says, that was a good thing for her because she's what she is because of that discipline, and she is teaching that to her kids as well. And what she did not like, those she did changes with her relationship with her children. So that I always remember. I hope she doesn't mind me reiterating that. Archana?
Archana is there, but on mute.
Okay, might be she's talking on mute, sir.
Yeah.
So
So I think
No, come again, Madhu, come again.
like
My
you are,
AirPods were not connecting, so I missed that conversation.
no, your relationship with your father, you said your father is from military and he was very, very strict with you, which you did not like, maybe, right?
He was not from military, but yes, he was equal to that kind of personality.
And you did
And,
not like that experience, right? Like how strict he was with you. But
Since he
now,
was
yes,
young.
before coming into this spirituality path, yes.
yes, but once after you came into spirituality, then, but little bit of that discipline had molded you, and you have changed. You put that discipline into your relationship with your children, and whatever you dislike, with there you did some changes, like because with our experiences we do that, right? Because see, even I had experiences with when during my childhood, and which I
Mhm.
did not like. I never repeated that with my children. This is something I did not like, so I don't want to do that to my kids. So I guess that always stays
I
with
mean,
us.
personally, to me, Madhu, I really appreciate from the bottom of my heart the way they brought me up. But yeah, the things, as you're saying, I totally resonate with you. The things which I prefer, I didn't like personally, which was like, could have been changed. I tried those modifications with my kid. So it was like his discipline was with fear and my discipline was with like love. So I think the difference was only that I gave them the freedom of expression, which was not given to me. So I just did some modifications, which I didn't prefer during my childhood. And I think the result is like really awesome. I mean, of course,
Yeah.
there's always scope of improvement, but what I'm saying is this, I kind of, did some changes, but I really I am so much in, grateful to my parents, the way they brought me up. Like, now I understand. Now I totally understand. And
Wohi,
I'm-
to in this book
Huh.
also they are telling the same thing. When
Huh.
we were
Yes,
a child, we might not have resonated with that,
exactly.
and we might not like whatever experience we are going through. But
Mhm.
later in our lives, we might realize,
Absolutely.
maybe that is for the
Absolutely.
good that my parents are doing that to me. That
Hmm.
realization, yes. Yeah. Go ahead,
Yep.
Priyaji. Sorry.
That's exactly the situation in normal life also, is it not? We may not know why a particular bad situation has come to us.
True,
We
yes.
realize it after a few years.
You're right.
Am I right?
Oh, so true. So true. I totally now realize whatever is happening for our best.
I think so, sir. In first and second case, that is what we think. But when we do when we are in the third stage, that realization comes immediately. I think maybe.
Yeah.
Sir,
So
Chandra
what?
sir, correct me.
See, I don't know whether we get to the third stage in real life.
Why
No,
not,
sir.
sir?
Michael Singer has come, so
Why
some
not?
people might have come, sir.
But why
No,
not? I
no,
mean,
no.
it's the
No,
most
no.
natural.
See, the third one, I myself have not come at this age.
Maybe by समय बोल रही थी. Yes. Second is
Huh?
okay.
No, no. The third one is at least now after getting into spiritual tablets, maybe I will accept. But till such time, right? I was always under why me? Why did God want my toast when so many were available in the market? Right? I never related to it that way, right? So I don't know if in real life we come to the third stage. If people do come to the third stage, that means they are highly mature.
So maybe that came to you so that it was time for you to commit to spiritual path, maybe, sir, because of that.
I don't know, but what I'm trying to say is, it is only in the last 1 year that I'm realizing that there is a master. And the master could be my breath, could be my injury, it could be my disease, it could be so many forms, right? And all those have come because I had a plan that I had created for myself. So I have to learn and I have to go by that plan. Till that maturity, right? I was still in the first two stages only. I don't think I came to the third stage at all. So for everything there is a right time, and at that right time you may come into the third stage, you may not come.
Right, sir.
Unfortunately, all of
Like,
us belong to the third category. All of us are
yeah.
now in the third category because we realize all these are masters for us.
But living in the third stage, 24 hours a day, I think it's a challenge. But
No.
because some
See,
part of the day,
one second,
I
no,
can
no.
be.
See, Madhu. There, please apply the three dharmas of life.
Mm.
Right? You have to divide your time 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours if you want to do it effectively. So you will be in these three stages, and for each one you should know where to start and where to stop. That is what this book is actually trying to teach us. Got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Because that we will go through all these stages, but we should be able to identify that stage and tune our lifestyle accordingly. That is the critical essence or the message that is important. Yeah. So, you want me to continue or someone else wants to read?
I'll read some.
Yeah. You
Sir,
to
I have
start
to
with
leave,
the-
sir. Thank you, sir. I have to leave,
Okay,
sir.
carry on, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
In fact,
Some
in this,
impact, no? Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. In fact, in this form of faith, the person does not even expect protection from the master, because to expect even protection of any sort means harboring some kind of expectation from the master. In this form of faith, the child has left it all to the master. The child is certain that whatever happens to him or her, it is happening with the will of the master. And whatever happens with the will of the master is perfect and for the highest good. This form of faith requires total surrender. It is the most difficult, but also the most sublime. It frees you from all expectations and also the agony of reward and punishment, success and failure, happiness and grief. You give your best to life and leave the rest to your master. The master knows best, and that's that. So the philosophy is not, I have faith in my master will take care of me and will not let me down. But I have full faith in my master, and whatever happens, my master knows best. And it is happening with my master's permission and approval. And as it is happening with my master's blessings, then nothing could be better for me than this.
That is the spirit. That what you just read out, I have full faith in my master and whatever happens, my master knows best. And it is happening with my master's permission and approval. Please note this word, it is master's permission and approval, not connivance. As it is happening with my master's blessing. That means that is the best for me.
The
The
most
best of
important
interest.
thing, sorry. The most
You see-
important thing is that whatever takes place is accepted gracefully and with positive surrender as the will of the master. The consequences are accepted calmly and gracefully. He or she is content in the knowledge that nothing, good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant, joy or grief, can enter his or her life without the consent of the master. This is like that thing from the Gita. If it
Yeah.
has the consent of the master, then
Yeah,
whatever
Siddha
the
Prajna.
neither
Sthita
this
Prajna.
nor that affects the, okay, anyway, I'll continue. If it has the consent of the master, then whatever the unpleasant experience be, death, illness, separation, betrayal, bankruptcy, agony, grief, ill repute, allegations, whatever, it has come with a reason, and the master knows the reason, and the master has willed it. And if something has been approved and blessed by the master, then that is all that matters. Remember, it is easier said than done. This complete faith means annihilation of one's own self and identity. The person or this child of God becomes more like a dervish, a medium, an instrument of his or her master. As the dervish fine tunes his or her faith more and more and aligns his or her frequency or vibration with that of the master, the child begins to lose his or her identity and takes on the identity of the master. The more you lose yourself, the more you connect with your master. The more you shed away yourself, the more space your master gets to occupy. The less of you means more of your master within you. Those who are really fine-tuned with their master's frequency may, in the end, lose themselves completely, and it is in them their master or their God resides. Then they become the true vessels or instruments where whatever they say, think, do, see, hear, all is through their master. In fact, is done by their master. Like mixing honey in cold milk, In the end, the honey and milk lose their individuality and merge with each other, and the result is pure nectar. But remember, there's a big difference between these dervishes, these children of true faith, and those who are just fatalistic. First of all, a person of true faith gives his or her best to life, to the moment, to his or her master. This is done without expectations of any sort. After that, whatever happens in his or her life, the person accepts with grace and positive surrender. The dervish is not disgruntled or does not become negative or does not lose faith. In fact, he or she goes about life with the same intensity and love for the master, more in fact, never less. But a fatalistic person's approach is remarkably different. This person uses the crutch of fate or destiny and does not not faith and surrender. A fatalist blames everything on destiny and God. Even the effort is never optimum, as the main philosophy of life is that effort and intention are overshadowed by stars and destiny, and if all is destined, why overstretch for anything? If things don't go their way, the attitude is always what to do. It wasn't in my stars, or God didn't want it, so to hell with it. Remember, both these type of people leave it all to God, but notice the difference. The dervish gives his or her best without the thought of reward and consequence and leaves the result gracefully to the master and accepts with positive surrender all that life bestows as the will of the master. The fatalist never gives his or her best to the person, best to life, as the person believes that anyway all is destined by God, who is only interested in the balance sheet of karma. So do whatever you like, but in the end, whatever has to happen will happen. This person does not accept things with positive surrender, but more with resignation and helplessness, even negativity, frustration, and defeat. Thus, there is a difference of heaven and earth between positive surrender and a fatalistic approach to life.
We'll stop here. Tomorrow we will continue with the next. Yeah. I see a new name. Am I missing? Aruna? Aruna, is this the first time you have joined us? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Now I see this name Aruna. Is this somebody new who has joined us?
There is one Zoom user. We don't know. I'm not
The
sure.
Zoom user is Apna Dinesh sir.
Okay.
The others are not Zoom users. Only Dinesh sir is. Yeah, Dinesh bhai.
Is
This
it
name, I don't know if we have
is
had
it showing?
Aruna. Yeah, sir.
Yeah, my wife, sir, my wife's name is Aruna. I am using her iPad, but I don't know how I am getting two
okay.
identities here. I should only be getting one identity, either my wife or me, but not both.
Have you logged into two devices?
No, only one.
No. If you
That's
switch
just
on
her
your camera, are
iPad. That's
both
all.
coming on? If you
Maybe
switch on
somebody
the
else.
camera, are both of you
No.
visible?
తెలియదండి. I have no idea what is happening
Because one is
basically.
muted, Aruna Anedi. Maybe somebody
Ah.
new. I just wanted to know that's it.
I have no idea.
Okay. So any comments from anyone?
Coincidence.
Huh?
Sir, I had one question, sir.
Yeah. Show your face and ask question. We agreed to that.
Okay, TK, I will. So earlier when we came across hatred, so I always thought hate was a very strong word. So people say so easily that I hate this, I hate that, not just a person. So hating a person is big, but little small things also, I hate this, I hate that. That is what some of the kids and my kids also used to say. I used to say, hate is a very big word. Say dislike. I don't like this, I like that. Say that one. So I am thinking, shouldn't we even think like that? I don't like this, because there is a difference between hate and dislike. I know that, but shouldn't we even think like that?
Theoretically
So let
speaking,
me,
but in practice, I don't think we go that deep into our thought before we talk. Listen,
Because
we 99% of the time, it is a problem with the vocabulary.
yeah,
Right? It's a problem with the vocabulary. If you know,
yeah.
Reader's Digest had long ago, during my school days, brought out a huge book. Probably in those days, it was an 800-page book, which said use the right word. I had glanced through a couple of pages, so I am very particular about what word I choose when I am speaking or what word I choose when I am writing. But I don't think we need to go that deep when somebody is talking. Right? That causes this problem. We should be able to fall into the third category and take the essence out of it. But
yeah, because
your
as simple
question,
as
yeah,
yes, sir. As
they
simple
really,
as
we know that they don't really mean that they hate it.
yes, but they use it so casually. Like my son doesn't like brinjal, so he says, "I hate brinjal." I says, "It is not hate. It is like you dislike it."
But it is also expression of feeling, right? Or
But
opinion.
Sir, when
sir,
somebody is
shouldn't
talking, their tone reveals their expression. I hate
Say again.
I'll give you the example. I hate it. My facial expression tells you whether I hate it or I don't like it. Otherwise, I will say I hate it. I hate it means I dislike it. I hate it. That means I really don't. It's not I don't like it. It's much more than that. So when we are talking, our facial expression goes with the sentence that we use.
Especially tone while speaking.
Correct. But when it comes to reading a book, that is where we make all the mistakes. Right? So, to that extent, I don't know whether we should attach so much importance.
Because it may be a different word, but if, like you said, no, the tone. So instead of hate, if I say dislike, if I say I dislike it, then it's worse than using the word hate. Right?
Then it equally implies like I hate you. I hate it.
Yeah. So
Though you say dislike, it implies the meaning hate only.
So if I say I hate tomatoes,
Take that kind of a call when we are talking, and particularly with kids, because they don't understand.
so when we are telling the kids or to ourselves, sir, I don't know, for some reason I don't like the word hate. So what should I do about it then?
so I think look into your belief about the use of the word. I'm not implying that the use of the word is advisable or not advisable, but what your belief is about the word can also be affecting the way you're getting affected by somebody else using it.
No, when we say hate, one feeling comes, right? I don't like that feeling.
Madhu,
That is what
can I say something on it?
Sure. That's why I'm
what
asking.
you're saying is that you hate the word hate. What you're saying is you hate the word hate.
in a
You know,
way.
all of you should read the book that I put in Fakir a couple of days
I will.
ago. The
Emotion
code.
code. Yes, sir. I intend to read it today.
Listen to it, because what I have posted is the link to the audio book as well as the PDF. I posted both in that link. Listen to it. The way you will talk will completely undergo a change if you do that. Just listen to it.
I always used to wonder, sir, why don't I like it? So yeah, today the topic came, so I'm asking.
No, that's
Yeah, so
because
that's what I'm saying. It
probably
could also involve.
your vocabulary is the British vocabulary and your kids' vocabulary is the US vocabulary.
American.
For everything, I hate this, I hate that. As casual as that.
Yeah, so if
They
it's
are
being given
mostly influenced with friends in the school, I believe,
Huh.
Madhu.
it is the
And
general,
SUCK they use so easily. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's more like a trend than the actual expression of the
Huh.
word or the emotion that
Yeah.
That
we
is what
attach
they
to
say.
those
It doesn't
words.
mean anything. That it doesn't mean anything, Amma. That's what they say. Then why do you use it? It's just like that. We use it. Everyone uses it. So they
It's a
don't think
slang.
much about it. They don't put
It's
much
not a word, it's a
emotion
slang.
into it.
There's a difference
Huh.
between a slang and a
No,
word.
Yeah.
Madhuji,
Cheppandi.
Madhuji, surrender to them. They are learning from their friends. Just surrender to them. That's it.
Now think that it is innocently used the word.
Huh. No, I understand, sir. But now they are young, they innocently use. But later on in life, after a certain age, if that becomes part of life, it goes into their subconscious, right? That it is as casual as that. So, mokkai vanganidi bane ongutunda. So we have to, as a parent, correct them
Yeah,
now.
your intention is
Oh,
good.
one sec. You are a student of spiritual tablets. Both your children are beyond 14 years. You have no right over them.
No, I don't tell that, sir. I'm telling hate is a big word. Mean it when you say it. That's what I'm telling. And that's it. Not more than that.
They will come back to you saying, Mom,
See,
that's your problem. This is our problem. Leave it.
ఇప్పటికే చెప్తారు సార్.
My grandson
That is your
trying
meaning,
to
not
tell
our
that
meaning.
today, though he can't speak. See, the way
That's
things
right.
are evolving, my grandson tells me that without speaking any word. He's 1.5-year-old. He's trying to speak some words in his language. We have to understand. If we don't understand, he gives the expression of I hate. Right? So I mean, everybody is evolving. So I don't know whether we should give so much importance.
Sir, we are
to this kind
still
of-
recording.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I will stop. I mean, this was important.
We are